Sometimes the dead don't stay gone. Sometimes love rots in a way that keeps moving, keeps breathing, keeps calling your name long after it should have stopped. Tonight's confession isn't about grief. It's about a door you think you've closed and the hand that pushes it back open. This is Magenta Rose Confessions, where love, lies, and loss intertwine. If you love stories that make your heart race and your mind linger long after they end, stay till the last word. And don't forget to subscribe. There are more shadows waiting to be uncovered. The first message came 3 months after the funeral. 3 quiet, gray months where I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't fully understand what had happened. 3 months, and then my phone lit up at 2:13 a.m. A text from Jake, my ex-boyfriend. The same Jake who was buried 6 feet under in Hillcrest Cemetery. The message was simple. Hey, I miss you. I stared at it for so long that the screen dimmed, my reflection staring back at me with hollow eyes. Jake was dead. Jake was gone. Jake wasn't supposed to be texting anyone. Jake and I were together for 2 years. 2 long, tender, devastating years. He was a storm I thought I could calm, impulsive, brilliant, moody in a way that made you want to smooth the edges of him with your hands. He loved too intensely, needed too fiercely. The kind of man who would kiss you like he was starving and then push you away like he hated himself for wanting you. But I loved him. God, I loved him. The way he touched my cheek when he tucked my hair behind my ear, the way he smiled at me when he pulled me close, kissing my forehead lightly. And he loved me, at least in his own vacillating, consuming way, holding my hand whenever we were outside, wrapping his arm around my neck and pretending to whisper to me when other guys stared too long in my direction. When we ended things, it wasn't loud or cruel. No screaming, no slamming doors, just 2 people sitting on opposite ends of a couch, realizing their love was a fire that kept burning the house down. We broke quietly, but the break stayed inside me, like a splinter under skin. Jake had a habit of texting me late at night, even after the breakup. And I had a habit of writing back. He'd send me little things like, I can't sleep. Are you awake? If I die, I'll still find a way to talk to you. I always laughed at that last one. Jake was dramatic like that, playful. I found it enduring, even though we'd ended things. But when his car went off that bridge, when the guardrail gave way, when the river swallowed his car whole, I didn't laugh. Not once. The police called it an accident. Slick roads, late hour, driver fatigue. But something about it never felt right. Or maybe something about me never felt right. I cried for weeks. He was my ex, but I wept like we were still together. Grief is complicated when love is complicated. When Jake's first message came, I told myself it was a glitch, a bad joke. Maybe someone hacked his old accounts. But then the next text arrived. A photo. A picture of us sitting on his couch 2 years earlier, the day we made pancakes at midnight and fell asleep tangled in each other. A picture I had deleted from my phone years ago. Then another text. Still love that sweater on you. My stomach clenched. Because that sweater, the soft gray one he always pulled me close in, was sitting folded at the foot of my bed. Another picture came in. Me. Asleep. In that sweater. And the metadata on the photo, it said it had been taken the day before. I checked the windows, the locks, the shadows. Someone had been inside my apartment while I slept. Someone had taken a picture of me, and whoever it was knew me intimately. Too intimately. I called the police. My friends, Jake's brother Caleb, even his mother. No one believed me. Grief makes patterns out of nothing, they said. You're tired. You're imagining things. It's your brain trying to hold on to him. But the messages kept coming. Not random, not generic, not guesswork. He wrote things only Jake could know. Things I had never told anyone. Like the necklace I'd lost at his apartment. The silver one with the tiny opal. I'd always assumed it had fallen behind the dresser. He sent me a picture of it. In his hand. The caption, "Found this. Thought you'd want it back." I changed my number. New SIM, new plan, new phone. The messages still came. This time from an unknown number. "Why are you ignoring me, Alyssa? Don't you miss me? I found the necklace. Don't you want it back? You wanted us to be forever. I came back for you." My heart felt like it was shrinking inside my chest. Then one night, a knock. 3 slow knocks. 2 light, 1 heavy. Jake's knock. The one he used every time he visited me. I froze, walked slowly to the door, looked through the peephole. No one. My phone buzzed. "You look scared." "Don't be. It's just me. Let me in." I dropped the phone. I called the police, absolutely hysterical. And this time they traced the messages. It led to an address across town. To Jake's brother, Caleb. I hadn't seen Caleb in years, since before I broke up with Jake. He was quiet, reserved, almost painfully polite. When he opened the door, I froze. Because he looked like Jake, I almost had a heart attack. Same sharp jaw, same tired eyes, same faint, crooked smile, a genetic echo. He smelled like Jake. The same cologne Jake wore filled the room. I pushed past him. "What do you think you're doing?" I demanded, emboldened by the detective beside me. "Where is Jake's phone? Why are you doing this? Why are you pretending to be him?" Caleb watched me for a long moment as the detective asked his own questions. Words like harassment and stalking were used. Caleb replied to the detective, but never shifted his gaze from me. I started getting nervous when a small smile appeared on his lips as the detective handed him an order to appear at the station. "I don't think that will be necessary. Don't you, Alyssa? You really think ghosts text?" "It was a small joke. Allie. Come on, you know me. You know I would never hurt you." The way he said Allie made me pause. Only Jake called me that. Ever. Then he laughed. Soft. Almost kind. He admitted he'd been messaging me. He said Jake's phone wasn't destroyed in the crash. He said he'd kept it. He said he'd wanted to feel close to his brother and had simply followed up with the last message on his phone. To me. But I didn't believe it was grief. Not exactly. There was something else behind his eyes. Something dark and understanding. Something knowing that scared me more than the texts. I turned to the detective, asked him to leave, told him that I needed to talk to my ex's brother and that I would give a follow-up complaint if anything happened again. The detective gave Caleb a hard stare, and a parting word of friendly police advice. Caleb nodded, said he understood. As soon as the detective left, Caleb turned to me, his smile fading. Then he said something that made my blood turn to ice. "Jake's not dead, Alyssa. He's here." I tried to speak, but he kept going. "He's upstairs." Caleb stepped aside and pointed at the stairs behind him. "Upstairs," he said softly. Someone moved up there, and then a figure, a man, emerged at the landing. Bandaged hands, a scar carving down the side of his neck, a twisted shoulder, fingers missing, bones healed wrong, a body made of pain. I gasped and my knees buckled. The man descended slowly. Like if he moved too fast, he would turn to dust.
"Jake?" He stared at me with eyes that were empty and full at the same time. Eyes that remembered everything. Everything I had hoped was forgotten. Jake stood at the foot of the stairs, trembling, alive. Barely. I remained on my knees as Caleb moved to his brother's side. Suddenly, sickeningly, everything made sense. Caleb's jokes, Jake's injuries, the missing fingers, the scar on his neck, the stiff wrist, the limp. Jake had survived, and Caleb knew everything. Caleb knew that that night on the bridge, Jake hadn't had an accident. That night on the bridge, I tried to kill him. My breath hitched, the room spun, the world tilted sideways. Jake took a step toward me. "Alyssa," he whispered, voice hoarse. "You didn't think I'd survive, did you?" My throat closed. No sound came out, because the truth I'd buried so deeply, the truth I'd twisted into a story of heartbreak, was clawing its way back to the surface. We argued that night. Not an ordinary fight. Not the kind lovers recover from. Jake said he needed space. Said I loved him too tightly, too completely. He said he felt trapped. He said love wasn't supposed to feel like being hunted. And something inside me cracked. Not anger, not hatred, a desperate, hollow ache. Because I could feel him leaving me, breathing differently, looking elsewhere, loving less. And I couldn't let him leave. I grabbed the steering wheel, turned it hard. The car slammed into the guardrail, metal shrieked, glass exploded. The world flipped. Water swallowed us whole. During the chaos, Jake's hand was sliced open. The door crushed part of his fingers. The seatbelt carved into his neck. His spine twisted. I crawled out first. I could have helped him, but I didn't. If he wanted to leave me, he would have to try another way. I watched him slip under the surface, watched the bubbles rise, watched the river take him. I walked home, cold, silent, told myself I had won. He was mine and no one else's. Then, after weeks of pining, I started texting him. Texting little things like, "Hey, I miss you," and "I can't sleep. Are you awake?" Sending messages to a phone Caleb had. And then, months later, Caleb started texting me back. Caleb spoke for the brothers. He told me, in a slow, monotonous tone, everything that had happened. He crawled to my doorstep at dawn, half dead, said your name before he passed out. I stared up at the two of them in disbelief. I cleaned his wounds, set the bones as best I could, threaded needles with shaking hands, all to keep him alive. He refused to go to the hospital, refused to let anyone know he was alive. He told me he couldn't let you get hurt, didn't want you to suffer, said it was his mistake, said he didn't know just how much you really loved him, and how much he really loves you. He looked at me with such malice, such anger, and such sorrow, all at the same time. I stared between him and the silent Jake, my Jake, who now looked like a monster, beside his brother Caleb, who now looks like my Jake. I finally understood. Together they had built the lie that consumed me, made me a mad woman to every eye and ear. The funeral had been a closed casket one. Jake's body had never been found after all. Bodies got taken by that river every year. They buried an empty casket. No one suspected a thing, including me, until now. Jake stepped closer. I crawled through hell for you. I came back for you. You tried to keep me forever. His voice trembled. Now let me keep you. Caleb placed a hand on his brother's shoulder. Alyssa, he murmured, eyes soft with something unholy. He's shattered, and you're the only thing that keeps him whole. Jake held out his ruined hands, the hands I had broken. He said, "Stay with me, please." And something in his voice, some fragile echo of who he used to be, almost made me step toward him. Almost. But I turned on the floor, on my knees, and bolted up. I ran, out the door, into the street, into the night. My lungs burned, my legs shook. I didn't stop until I got home. I locked myself in for 3 days. Then I went back there. The house Caleb lived in was empty, abandoned, dust thick on every surface. No Jake, no Caleb, just my necklace, the one I thought I'd lost. Just silence and my own terror. Terror for the truth I can't confess to anyone. I had tried to kill him, but he came back. Last night, I got another text. No words, just a photo. 2 men. One in light, one in shadow. The one in the light smiled kindly at me. The one in the shadow stared directly into my soul. I sent a photo back, a live one, of me, in my gray sweater, the one Jake loved, the one he said made me look soft, the one I wore the night I pushed him off that bridge.
Love doesn't die quietly. Sometimes it doesn't die at all. To the world, Alyssa was trapped, haunted by a ghost, terrorized by a memory. But the truth is far more twisted. She wasn't the hunted. She was the conductor of a symphony gone wrong, a hand guiding chaos with a lover still breathing. And now, somewhere in the shadows they share, the melody plays on. It lingers. It waits. It hunts. And no matter how deep you bury it, love like theirs, always finds its way home. This is Magenta Rose Confessions, where love, lies, and loss intertwine. If this story left you thinking, stay a while. There are more shadows to uncover.